Hey everyone. The following horror story you're about to hear is written by Sycreations. She specializes in horror and suspense and all of that good stuff. I'll be linking all of her information in the description box below so you can check out her website where all her horror stories are on so you can read for yourself, and her Instagram and her YouTube. Now, without further ado, let's enter the dark side. She sat with her arms folded at her chest, nervously biting her fingernails while waiting for her name to be called. As she glanced at her reflection in her handheld vanity mirror, she noticed she had accidentally smeared some red lipstick from her lower lip when she was biting her nails. She grabbed a tissue and carefully dabbed off the smear before reapplying a new coat of lipstick. Her song began, Night Wish, Higher Than Hope. That was her cue. She stiffly stood up, bowed her head, silently prayed, and hesitantly stepped onto the ice rink. You can do this, she had thought to herself as she closed her eyes for a brief moment. As she lifted her head, she saw hundreds of people cheering for her in the arena, cheering for a performance they knew would be stupendous. The crowd went ballistic. When she skated onto the ice rink like a goddess in her black and gold sequin dress as if skating on thin air, the crowd silenced as she centered the rink and gracefully raised her arms for a moment before crouching down to her knees. The announcer spoke. Gloria Marino. She won silver in the World Championship twice. Now let's see if she has what it takes to go to gold in the Winter Olympics. Gloria Marino was an established figure skater with an outstanding reputation for being cutting edge. She had been figure skating since she was 7 years old. Her father, Rodrigo Marino, would constantly have her practice no matter what. Perhaps it was because her father never had the opportunity to perform professionally and wanted to virtuously live his dream through his daughter. Since her father's passing, Gloria had her heart set to become the best figure skater the world has ever seen. Her father would have been proud. Gloria would be doing something her father would never achieve. Luciana stood at the corner of the ice rink and watched her sister, Gloria, effortlessly slash a triple axel in awe. Gloria turned to look at Luciana and gave her a large wave before skating towards her. Did you bring it? Gloria asked her sister while almost out of breath. Yeah, and I'm sorry I'm kinda late. Misplaced the car keys again and had to look for them. Luciana reached into her brown paper bag and handed Gloria a bottle of ibuprofen. Gloria quickly opened the bottle and tossed 4 pills into her mouth. Did you need water? Asked Luciana. Nah, I'm good. My damn knee is killing me. If anything gets in my way of getting gold in the Winter Olympics, it's gonna be my fucking knee. Luciana looked down at Gloria as she reached down to massage her right knee. Gloria had injured her knee 6 years ago when she fell while jogging down a hiking trail in Colorado. Luciana expressed a look of concern and sympathy. She wished her sister would take her advice and lighten up on her practices. Luciana had always supported Gloria in her dream of figure skating in the Winter Olympics, but it bothered her to see Gloria in such constant pain. Luciana picked up Gloria's duffel bag and asked, Ready to go home? You don't want to skate with me? You've been practicing all day. I think you should call it quits for tonight. Nonsense. Get your skates. No, it's nonsense. Get your skates, Gloria said with an excited smirk. Gloria and Luciana flawlessly glided around the ice rink. They did pair lifts, they did layback spins, they did eye spins. It was one right after the other. They made each move seem so simple, seem so natural, like blinking or breathing. Luciana, who was 1 year younger than Gloria, was just as great as a figure skater as Gloria was, perhaps even better. Plus, she didn't have any issues with her knees like Gloria did, which often prevented Gloria from performing certain moves. Gloria and Luciana shared similar features, so much that people often mistaken them for twins. Luciana froze for a moment when she heard it. She wasn't able to move. Beads of sweat began forming on her forehead. Luciana's eyes grew in fear and her lips began to quiver. Gloria had just completed a death drop when she noticed Luciana's terrified disposition. She glided towards Luciana and cautiously placed a hand on Luciana's shoulder and asked, "Luce, you okay?" She's Luciana muttered under her breath. "No one is here, Luce," Gloria said in a reassuring voice. "We're alone." "Luciana." Gloria gently shook Luciana in an attempt to snap Luciana out of the trance she was in. "Luciana, you're mine." Luciana tightly closed her eyes and placed her hands over her ears. Tears began running down her cheeks, and her breathing became irregular. When she opened her eyes to observe her surroundings, she saw her. A woman now stood beside Luciana. Her eerily long, stringy black hair swayed without a breeze. Her sunken black eyes drove deep into Luciana's eyes, as if peering into her soul. Her pale skin illuminated by the light and dripped maggots and rotting flesh. Her large yellow rotting teeth peeked through her torn flesh. Her burning breath reeked of rotten roadkill. Luciana, in her horrified state, pushed the repugnant woman onto the ice and quickly skated off the rink. Luciana crashed into the rink's walls and fell down, where she sat for a moment and watched the woman stand up. Luciana hurriedly unfastened her skates as the woman approached with extended arms. Luciana finally managed to take off her skates, but it was too late. Luciana looked up and saw the woman cowering over her. The hideous woman opened her mouth and released a deafening scream while dripping gore and maggots over Luciana. Scared for her life, Luciana reached for one of her skates and struck the woman over her head. The woman fell onto her back while mumbling unintelligible words. Luciana crawled toward the woman and repeatedly used the blade of her skate to silence the woman for good. She struck and she slashed the woman's head again and again until silence broke through. Silence. Silence. In tears, Luciana dropped the skate and slowly crawled away from the woman. A loud ringing vibrated in her ears, so much that Luciana let out a scream. "Stop!" The ringing seemed louder than any siren Luciana had ever heard. The ringing was so intense that Luciana was sure her head was going to explode. She sat at the edge of the rink with her knees tucked up against her chest and her hands tightly covering her ears. She stared wide open at the woman, who was now in a pool of blood. The ringing, the screaming, it would not cease. Luciana shut her eyes and let out another scream. "Stop!" Silence. A cruel, unforgiving silence now hung over Luciana. The unearthly silence helped Luciana to calm down as she opened her eyes. She saw Gloria, sprawled onto the ice rink, with her face smashed and a pool of blood running out. Terrified by the realization, Luciana released a crackling cry as she rushed over to her sister and hugged her. What did I do? How could I have done this? How could this have happened? I was alone. Gloria wasn't here, Luciana thought. Her thoughts rapidly raced with confusion. Luciana dragged Gloria's corpse off the rink and held her sister tightly. After releasing an ear-shattering scream, Luciana reached into her purse and pulled out her antipsychotic medication for her schizophrenia. She had forgotten to take her medication. She had neglected to take her medication for 2 weeks. Luciana carefully carried Gloria into her car and drove her home. After laying Gloria in bed, Luciana put a CD in from Nightwish and played Higher Than Hope on repeat. It was the song Gloria was going to skate to during the Winter Olympics. Gloria loved that song. Luciana cuddled with Gloria until sleep had taken a hold of her. Luciana awoke at 4:27 a.m. to the sound of a loud truck driving past her house. She stared blankly at Gloria for a while before an idea formulated. No one would know the difference if I skated in the place of Gloria, Luciana thought, and I can easily manipulate people into thinking I'm Gloria. I won't get caught. I won't. Luciana's thoughts were running wild, with ideas of how she could avoid being arrested and spending life in prison. She wasn't the prison type. She knew she would die if she went to prison. There was no way she would survive. She weakly sat up in bed, rubbed her face, then tied her hair into a sloppy bun. Luciana looked down at Gloria's mutilated face and decided to get Gloria dressed. Luciana dressed Gloria in a black and purple floral dress and carried her into the living room, where she sat Gloria on the sofa. "I'll leave the TV on so you don't get bored, alright?" Luciana told Gloria. Winter Olympics began at 9 a.m., and Gloria was not going to miss it. Luciana went into Gloria's bedroom closet and pulled out the outfit she had helped Gloria pick out, a black dress with gold trim and sequins that lightly scattered the chest area. After her shower, Luciana put on the dress and fixed her hair into a clean, tight updo. She applied her makeup just how Gloria wore hers. They could have been twins. Luciana slipped on a pair of dark gray Nike sweatpants over her dress and a matching Nike sweatshirt. She walked into the living room and opened the curtains to bring in light. "Much better, Gloria, don't you think?" "Of course. I'll be back. Miss Staganoff should be by shortly to clean up and do laundry." "Well, I'm going to get you first place. Get you that gold medal," Luciana said with a smile before lightly kissing Gloria on her cheek. The announcer roared. "Incredible. She came out of that pearl spin so effortlessly. She's going to attempt a quadruple axel now. And she nails it. Perfection. I'm at a loss of words. What an astonishing performance by Gloria Marino." The crowd leaped to a raging applause and threw gifts and flowers onto the ice as Luciana blew kisses and happily waved and curtsied. Two sweepers skated to Luciana and handed her some teddy bears they had picked up off the rink. Luciana gave a final wave to the cheering crowd before skating off the ice. Police met Luciana at the edge of the ice rink. Detective Jones glanced down at Luciana's skates and immediately saw traces of Gloria's blood still on the blade. Luciana smiled at the police and said, "How'd I do?" The police officers just looked at each other and shook their heads, while Detective Jones began reading Luciana her Miranda rights. "Luciana Marino, you have the right to remain silent and not say anything which might incriminate yourself. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law."